What's up, good people? We are back live. Q&A will be A and praise. And so the conversation today is very simple, right? People want to go out and make oodles and oodles of money. I've been fortunate to make millions of dollars, and there's 5 characteristics that I've learned that every successful entrepreneur must have if they not only want to be able to make the money, but to be able to multiply it and manage it. And so today, that's what we're going to get into, man. So pull up a chair, send this to a friend. P, it's good to be back with you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I before we even get started, I gotta just it's the end of the year. I've been with you since March. I just gotta give you your flowers. I didn't even know this year was gonna turn out like this. 2025 been one of the best years of my life. So yeah, man, I just appreciate you for delivering every single week for us. And I appreciate it, man. I just want to say thank you. I know everybody else who's listening, they appreciate you for showing up every week. But yeah, man, it's from March until now. I don't. I think when we started in March doing this, right, or was it the month after?
We we started in March. I started in January.
Yeah, yeah. We know when you started.
Yeah.
You
No,
started 20 years
no,
ago.
no, no,
We know.
I'm not discounting when we started, but I want them to know when I started. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
it's no, you're 100% correct. And it's been a blessing for me too, bro. Like seriously, and I think I speak for the audience when saying that, your contribution to this has taken it to a whole nother level, and so many people have been able to become better as a result of your discipline, your consistency, and your vulnerability, and getting up here transparently and through that has opened up opportunities for me to be able to pour into you, which inadvertently has poured into others as a result. So big shout out to you in showing up the way that you have.
Here you go, communicating greatly again. Anyways, I appreciate it. You always just find a way to be BA. You always find a way to do that, man. But before we get into the topic, I just have a few other questions that I want to, get into. So I'll start with this. So I wanted to ask, how important is self belief, right? Because we know obviously God believes in us, but how important is it for us to believe in us in order to be successful in our own lives? Like for you personally, like how much has self belief helped you to be successful? Oh
Man,
gosh.
that's a really good question, right? That's a really because whenever I answer something, I'm never answering it flippantly.
Right.
I always want to look introspectively first because I never just want to say something because it's the right answer. I want to always say something because it's the best answer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
based on my lived experience, my point of view. And here's what I'll first start by saying: we will only behave consistently in what we believe, right? So if I don't believe that I can make 6 figures in a day, as an example, I'm not going to do the necessary inputs to even put me in position to make that happen, right? If
Right.
I don't believe that one day I'm gonna be financially free and live life according to my terms and all the things, then I'm not going to ever think about the idea of quitting my job. Like, why would I do that? Right? Like, why would I quit my job to to live this dream of making my life on my own terms and making money on my own terms and all? Like, why would I do that if I don't believe that? Right?
Right.
So we will only behave consistently in what we believe. As for me, your question is, and I just want you to re-ask your question. I want to make sure that I answer specifically the part that you asked about me.
Yeah, for sure. I was saying, how important has it been for you? Like, how important has self belief been in your journey in order for you to be successful?
Right. So for me specifically now, I don't know that it's been a lot of self-belief.
Mm,
What I do think has been is a lot of desire that I refuse to let go. So since I've been 12, right, I've always had a desire to have more, always had a desire to be rich, always had a desire to live life on my own terms. I've had that desire since I was 12 years old, right? And I'd have made a lot of mistakes on the pathway of trying to figure out how to do just that. Now I'm living in the result of never letting go of that desire, right? I can't say necessarily that my self-belief has been the strongest thing. It's been my desire to get it. And because my desire has been so strong to live life on my own terms and do the things that I want to do, then I've had enough audacity to just continue to do things even when I didn't understand how I was doing them and why I was doing them. Now, watch this. As a result of me taking action, this is why I always say action brings clarity. As a result of me having enough faith to take action, then my self-belief has increased as a result of it. But it started out with the pure desire of what I wanted most out of my life. And then having enough faith to take those action steps. And as a result of taking those actions, my self-belief increased. Now, because I got muscle memory and I got empirical data to look at, and I got cause and effect examples of when I do this, this happens, and when I do this and this happens, and when I don't do this and this happens, then my self-belief has increased now to where I can say that I lead more in pursuit of things because of my self-belief. But it didn't get that way initially. It started initially just with a strong enough desire.
It's very interesting. So, what would you say for people who don't have desire and only have self-belief? So, are you saying that's not enough? Because some people just believe they're going to be rich
It's not
someday.
enough. It's
Okay.
not enough. It's
Okay.
not enough.
That's
If
good.
you got self-belief but you don't have a strong desire to match it, it's not enough. Self-belief will allow you to take the action, but the desire is what forces you to. Self-belief will allow you to take the necessary action, but your desire is what will force you to take the necessary action. It's a lot of people that run around, and we see them every day, who spout off and pontificate and do all these things on social media because they have self-belief, they have self-confidence, they have all the things, but they don't have the fruit to back it up though, because the desire not strong enough.
That's good. That's really good. Reason being is because recently in my place of work, I was going in there just with a desire of just wanting to be the best. That's been my mindset, desire of wanting to be the best. Through God's grace, He's brought me to a point where they're like, hey, like, you're becoming one of the best at work. But it was like, I realized it wasn't my self belief that got me there. It was just my desire to be the best. So that's why I was asking, how important is it for self belief? Because I see people who will only have self belief, and then once they, wherever area they're working at, they don't have that desire to be like, I want to get here. I want to be this. That's why I'm asking, why is it so important? And how important is it for just an entrepreneur outside of desire? How important is it for an entrepreneur to believe in themselves and whatever they're doing?
I think it's more important that you believe in something bigger than yourself. Right. So obviously me being a man of faith, you being a man of faith, I believe more in God than me, which
That's good.
allows me to have the faith to act upon my desire even when I don't have the self-belief.
That's good.
So through my faith, through my belief in God and what He says, and through my faith in that, gives me the ability to act on my desire. And then subsequently, I build my self-belief as I take those actions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And no,
Because
that's
here's the
actually,
thing, bro. As an
yeah.
entrepreneur, you're gonna have more self-doubt than you will self-belief in most cases. Because you always putting yourself out on this, like out on a limb as an entrepreneur,
Right.
right? You may have seasons and you may have certain things. Darius Daniel says this. He says that confidence is contextual, right? So there's going to be aspects of your business and what you do within your business that you're uber confident about, right? But then there's going to be the things that propel your business that you're going to always be out on a limb. So you're not
Right.
going to be as confident in that context, which is going to cause self-doubt, not self-belief. So relying on self-belief alone is dangerous as an entrepreneur. You be far better believing in what God said so that you have enough faith to take the necessary action steps and then let your self-belief catch up as you prove to yourself you accomplish those things along the way.
That's good. That's really good. I appreciate that breakdown. I wasn't even thinking that you're going to have more self doubt because that's true. That's true. When you haven't, especially if you haven't started or if you haven't scaled or if you haven't gotten the views you've been wanting to get, that's definitely more self doubt than self belief. So now pivoting into, the topic for today, talking about five non-negotiables every entrepreneur must have. I want to ask you first to break down what your definition of a non-negotiable is, and then we'll get into that. So, what is a non-negotiable?
A non-negotiable will be something that's not optional, right? It's something that's not optional. As an example, I don't care how good your webinar slides are. I don't care how good your challenge format is. I don't care how good your sales script is. I don't care how good the aesthetic of your website and your landing pages and all the things. I don't care how good those things are. If you can't effectively communicate, none of those things work. None of them work. By the way, I'm not saying that when I say effectively communicate, I don't mean that you're not articulate. I don't mean that you don't speak the King's English. I don't mean that you're not intelligent. Effective communication is not any of those things. It's only communicating to a level of persuasion to get your ideal client, prospective client, to do what it is that you desire to do from the time you opened your mouth. That's effective communication. And unless or until you master that, you're never going to be as good at any of those other things that you should be.
That's good.
Have you ever been in a room and you heard highly intellectual people speak, but none of it moved you to want to do anything?
100%.
You were impressed by how well they articulated themselves, but none of what they said forced you to be convicted or move into another action. That's because it wasn't effective communication. They were articulate, but it wasn't effective communication. And a lot of entrepreneurs run around today thinking they just need a new challenge. They need a new webinar. They need it. Don't get me wrong. Having the right framework will be beneficial. But unless you can properly articulate and communicate from a persuasive point of view, then none of it is going to work at the level that it's supposed to.
That's good. That's really good.
So learning effective communication is a non-negotiable if you want to be successful in business. And leadership, period, right? But we're talking about business owners. So right. So in business, which is why I came out with the P5 Communication Mastery Program. For that very reason, to help entrepreneurs get better at their communication so that they can actually have communication that turns into cash flow.
That's good. That's good. And this is the other question before I ask you to start listing some of them. So, can non-negotiable traits be taught, or do they have to be built through experience?
Let's get through them, and then I'll answer that question. Because I don't know what the five are, right? I
Right.
know. Okay, so as an example, communication is one of them for sure,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
That can be built if there's a desire to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That can be built.
Okay.
Okay.
For sure.
You don't even have to be the most articulate person in order to have effective communication.
Right.
You know, is one example that David and I show at various events that we have, and it's of a guy named Vance who did his first webinar, made $412,000, right? And Vance got a 10th grade education. When you watch the testimonial, he's not articulate really at all. So he just proves my point. It's not about necessarily being articulate. It's about being able to communicate your way to cash flow. It's two
Right.
different things. And most entrepreneurs run around and think because they're articulate that means that it's going to translate into money, and it's not.
Mm. That's good. That's really good.
I
So
know,
can you?
I know, I know, I know you picking up what I'm putting down right now.
Yeah.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
even think about it when I said it, but I can see you over there processing, and you know exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I definitely pick up what you're putting down. And I want you to just even elaborate more on communication. I feel like, as you know, we're both men of faith, and people don't understand that. Well, I believe some people don't understand that Jesus was an effective communicator.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
one of his best traits was how he communicated. So I just want you to elaborate on how important communication is, especially as wanting to be a successful entrepreneur, because everybody has the right idea. An idea, and I don't know if you said this or I was listening to somebody that said this, but they were like, everybody has a great idea. Like that's not
Oh,
that's not nothing new.
that's definitely something I said for sure.
Right. You're
Bro,
like everybody has a
I'm sick of ideas. Everybody got ideas, but nobody got execution. That's
right,
the problem.
right,
Everybody got ideas, but nobody got execution. That's the problem, right?
100%.
And communication is everything, bro. Everything. Your world gets better when you get better with words, right? When you think about it, you can't think about it without words. You can't think without words. Literally, like you can't think without so words are everything. Words shape worlds. And the better that you get at using them and communicating and packaging them in a certain way to move the person that's on the recipient end of it, everything in your life changes.
That's good.
Everything in your life changes. I mean, when you even look at Jesus's model, when he was speaking with in parables, right? I think it was in Matthew. One of the disciples asked him, like, why do you always speak in these parables? Don't nobody understand what you're talking about, essentially,
Right.
right? And he was like, he basically communicates in parables to crowds, and then he goes deeper with his disciples and explain what he meant in his inner
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a clue. That's what our marketing should do. Our marketing should speak to the masses, and then for those that it tickles their ears and they want a deeper understanding, they pay us to get in our masterminds. They pay us to get in our inner circles. They pay us
Good.
to. It's a framework.
That's good.
A lot. I mean, am I in the book? Like
So,
it's a framework. I'm just like I don't know what book we all reading, but that's what I saw when I read it.
right. That's good.
Y'all let us know in the chat. Am I tripping?
You in the book.
I mean, that's what Jesus said. I mean, it's a good model. He's the most effective marketer of all times.
That's really good. That's really, really good. Okay. So communication is number one. So what would be number two for you on your list?
That's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. All of these are non-negotiable.
Okay, so these are non-negotiable.
You live.
Setting non-negotiables.
Mm,
A non-negotiable is setting non-negotiables.
go ahead. Elaborate. I don't even. I can't with you.
So here's the thing. There's and I actually just heard this very well articulated by Kevin. What's my man from Shark Tank? Kevin, Mr. Wonderful, right? I can't think of his actual. Somebody in the chat, no, put it in there. Kevin something. But he was talking about when he worked with Steve Jobs, that Steve Jobs was maniacal about this concept of signal and noise. Thank you, Kevin O'Leary. Signal and noise, right? So throughout the course of your day, let's just say you up for 18 hours. 80% of your day needs to be focused on signal. And 20% can be attributed to noise. Okay? And what that means is this. Every single day, I should have 3 to 5 things on my task list that listen to me, it must happen in the 18 hours during my signal, the 80% during my signal time. Which means that I only allow myself 20% of that time for noise. Noise would be talking to family. Noise would be doom scrolling. Noise would, like, whatever that is, like anything that takes me away from doing these 3 to 5 things while I'm on signal time is noise. The people who can get up every day and make a commitment to themselves that during their signal time that they will get their 3 to 5 things done. When they do that consistently over time, they outperform everybody else. You become part of the top 2-3% of entrepreneurs. Because most people allow the noise to get louder and louder and louder and louder. And you look up and you spent just as much time throughout your day dealing with noise as you did during your signal.
That's so good. That's so good.
You cannot win as an entrepreneur with noise and signal balanced. They have to be extremely opposed to one another. Which is why what? My Instagram, I got a 1 hour time limit on Instagram. So
Same
throughout
here.
the day, when I hit 1 hour, then I know that was it for me for the day. Why? Because there was a season where justifiably, because Instagram was our number one lead source, that I would spend 4 or 5 hours a day intermittently on Instagram and didn't realize it. Years ago. Once I realized that, I'm like, oh, this is insane. And although I could justify it and say, well, this business, let's be honest, right? We could lie to everybody else, but hopefully not ourselves. I'm like, nah, B, you wasting time on there. Cut it off. Put myself on restriction. 1 hour, whether it's business or doom scrolling, 1 hour is what I get. But who waking up disciplining themselves? Nobody told me to do that. So I have to be consciously aware of my signal and my noise in my life. My phone staying D&D all day. It's probably 7, 8 people that could get through at a given moment. Why can they get through and nobody else?
It's not noise.
Watch this. Because they already know how to govern themselves in my world to where they won't become noise, even though they can get through.
That's good. This is really good.
I'm just keeping it a buck. You want the answers, I'm giving them to you.
Hey, I'm all ears.
And watch this. And if for some reason one of those people needed to get to me, to your point, it wouldn't be noise because I already know that it's something legit. But because I can't trust that everybody else know how to put the electrical fence up for themselves, then I just have to put it up for them. Because your urgency ain't my emergency. If I let all of your urgencies become my emergencies, I would never get anything done. Doesn't mean that what you're reaching out to me about isn't important. It just ain't urgent in my world.
This is good.
In the chat, let me know. Is anybody else tracking what I'm saying right now, or am I just sounding malicious to you?
Bro, this is good.
Now this, look. So yesterday, right? I just want to tell you how real this is that I'm saying. And this is probably going to make me look horrible to most people, but that's okay. So I was on sabbatical this week, right? I was gone Monday to Thursday, and I had my phone in airplane mode. I text those who needed to know that. You were one of them. Hey, phone gonna be in airplane mode. You know, my wife knew how to reach me on my other phone. If outside of that, you know, her and my daughter, nobody else needed to get in touch with me while I'm gone, right? The whole purpose of a sabbatical is to get away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like not
Right.
still be accessible. And so I told my parents before I left the same thing. Hey, my phone gonna be in airplane mode. Reach out to Nada if it's an emergency. You know, if not, I'll be checking back in when I get back. And so I got back yesterday afternoon, and I turned. By the way, I had taken on my other phone. I took Instagram, Facebook, like I took those apps off my other phone, right? So that I didn't even see them and see notifications or nothing from my other phone that was in airplane mode. I didn't even want the possibility of me engaging. So I just took the apps off my phone. Super peaceful, by the way. But when I'm coming back yesterday, I cut my phone back on. I get on Facebook and I'm looking at stuff, and I see one of my cousins put "pray for my family," right? And then I kept scrolling and I saw another family member say, "My family can't take no more loss." So instantly I know something wrong, right? And so I called my pops, and he was, you know, trading niceties or whatever. And then I asked him, I'm like, man, I saw something online, you know, that something happened to Uncle Billy. And so yesterday afternoon, my uncle died.
My
Right.
condolences.
Appreciate that. And so I talked to the fam last night, you know, a couple hours, checked on my mom. It was her younger brother. And the point I'm making is that everybody knew I was away, and they wasn't about to engage with me until I engaged with them. Out of respect, though. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't. You know, my father, he told me, he was like, yeah, we were going to, you know, tell, he was like, I didn't know if he was coming back tonight or whatever. We were going to tell Renata tomorrow, which was today. And I said, yeah, you know, I seen it. And I said, I didn't want to make any assumptions. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to call. The point I'm making is that some people may view that as wrong, right? But the emotional intelligence is, although this is important, for me to go and disrupt what he got going on right now don't change the fact that this already has happened. When he come up for air, I'll tell him about it. But the average person don't think like that, though. They would think this just happened. How can you get in touch with him? How can you get in touch with him? You understand what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's important that as you start to pursue the life that you say you want for yourself, that everybody else around you that's in your inner circle. By the way, I'm talking about my parents right now, right? Everybody that's around you in your inner circle has to understand that and help galvanize whatever it is along your journey. Not take away from it, because my parents will have all right to say, I'm your parent. Right?
Right.
But is that showing a respect and honor for what your son is doing, though? And I know you resonate with this conversation probably more than any, right? And by the way, and I pass that very thing down to my daughter. It don't matter what role you play in somebody's life, by design or by default. You choose the role that you play in their life based on the design of their life.
Mm.
But we get so caught up in titles and hierarchy of what we think we deserve to be in people's lives and the entitlement of what we're supposed to be in people's lives, instead of humbly submitting ourselves to the role that we play in their life based on the direction of their life.
Mm. That's good. That's good.
This is a conversation everybody don't want to have, though. That's why I prefaced it by saying people would think I'm crazy. And that's okay, right? But that's not going to stop me from telling you what it really looked like as you build in a life of success.
Right.
There's no badge of honor to say I dropped everything to do X, Y, Z. No, you just keep dropping everything. That's just the reality of it. If we want to take it even further, Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. We got work to do. Oh, we don't like that part of the book, though.
Just ruffled some feathers right there.
Oh, I mean,
Man,
I'm sure I did, but you asked me about non-negotiables.
I did.
These are those.
Right. 100%. 100%. And wow, that was really good. I appreciate you for sharing that. Hearing you talk about it in real time, I think that's what separates. I think that's what separates your communication from other communicators, right? And don't get me wrong, I know we obviously do these live streams on YouTube, so I went on my other page where we don't do the live streams on YouTube for my profile, because you know how 2025 gives you a recap of all the things. You were number one on my list outside of the live streams on my other page.
Wow.
All the YouTube videos. I think it said I watched like 57 or 58 videos from you, right?
That's
You
crazy,
know, listen, you listen, first things first, I already told you one of my favorite communicators, but I'm like, oh, these is probably the live streams. Like, of course it's going to say I'm number one. Then I went to the other page. It was like, no, you still number one. So, reason being I bring that up is because
I'm honored by that, by the way.
yeah, man. Hey, listen, it's going to be 100 videos next year. So it's only up from here. But I think like the big difference that you do is that you explain it on what it looks like in real time. No sugarcoating, you know, like like you said, I resonated with it a lot. I 1000% do, because if I took a sabbatical and I told everybody my phone was going on airplane mode, I'd probably have to wrestle just to explain why I need the sabbatical, or why did you leave, or why did you go rest. I'm grateful that your parents had enough respect for you to not even ask why you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but
And by the
yeah,
way, it go both ways.
right.
While I was on sabbatical, Tuesday I was in urgent care
Mm,
dealing with an issue that had been lingering from the previous week. That when I went to urgent care, they misdiagnosed me. I didn't come up for air and sound the alarm. And I take my wife didn't even. She was like, I asked her about something about the insurance card or something. And she was like, "You went to the doctor, right?" My daughter, who is expecting our first grandchild, first of the year, on Tuesday, also while I was there, had high blood pressure and she had to go to the hospital. Right, so they probably going to induce her and bring the baby here sooner. As soon as I get back yesterday, not only do I find out my uncle died, I talked to David. He tells me he was in urgent care the day after Thanksgiving himself. And then he had to fly from Tampa for a family emergency to Cali last night. I'm on the call praying with him. Yeah. So it's layers, bro, of how this thing work when you reach a
yeah,
certain level and you govern yourself accordingly. It's not just that I operate that way. My partner and David operate the same way. Right? And so it's having this emotional intelligence and dexterity of understanding the difference between important and urgent. And most people are so emotionally dysregulated that they don't differentiate between the two. And so they just
right.
bleed out on everybody all the time. Your urgency ain't my emergency.
That's good. That's very good. And I want you to just talk about, because you said putting up the electrical fence. I think this is huge, and this is such a timely conversation. I believe for me personally, because you always mention it, but we pray before every call, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, as we decrease, Lord, you increase, not knowing what He needs to tell whoever. So, like, as I've been working more, my life has, ever since I started working, my life changed drastically. Just because I can't have the same conversations I was having when I wasn't working. So my mindset was different when I wasn't working. My drive, my work ethic, all of that was different when I wasn't working. Now that I am working, right? I talk to people who aren't working, or they're trying to look for something, or they're still dibbling and dabbling with all the things of the world or whatnot. And it's like I can't even have those same conversations because that's not where I'm at no more. Like just with the leisure, or partying, clubbing, girls, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, okay, I got to put up now my own metaphorical electrical fence. And I've been realizing that people are getting angry because I'm not accessible anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I wasn't working, I was accessible, like
Mm-hmm.
1,000%. They know I'm chilling now. You know when that boy person at work, you could just call them whenever. They call me whenever. I'm just picking up. We on the phone all day. Now I can't do that because now I'm working majority of my day. And they're like, yo, like you don't answer my calls anymore. You don't pick up no more. I'm like, because I'm not in that season
Mm-hmm.
anymore. That's not who I am anymore. So now that I have this fence up, I've been realizing, like, this is one of the things that I realize a lot, that clarity for someone who used to live in so much chaos, it can cause fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so clear right now that it's like scary. Like it's so weird in a way. Like I'm like, yo, I've never been this clear before on what I want to do, where I want to go, who I want in my circle. So I wanted to just ask you about the importance of putting up that electrical fence, because you did that with the people who birthed you. People don't even do that with people. Talk less of family. That's a whole nother conversation. People don't even do that to people who are taking out of their cup, who aren't even pouring back in. Because that's what I was doing. I was letting people who were just taking out of my cup call me whenever, hit me whenever. And then I'm just ending the day on E because the people that I'm surrounding myself are just draining me and they're not pouring into my cup. So I just wanted to ask, like, you just talk about the importance of putting up that electrical fence.
Nobody else has my assignment but me. My parents, while they birthed me, can't understand my assignment. They can try to, and they do try to. My wife is probably the closest one to me that gets it, and even she don't. Can't nobody understand but you. The closer that the closer that people are to you, the more that they can empathize and try to understand. Right? And some of their best understanding is to understand that they don't understand, but they love you enough that they just do what's necessary. This morning I just seen a video between I think it was his name, Keon Henderson and Shawnee,
Yeah, yeah,
Shaq's ex-wife,
yeah,
and Pastor Keon, right?
yeah.
And he was talking about how in marriage it's not 50-50. We need 100% of our needs met 100% of the time. And as
Mm,
a result of that, there's going to be times where I got 70 and you got 30, but that's going to make the 100. There's going to be other times you got 70, I got 30, that's going to make the 100. And she kind of chuckled at one point when he was talking. He was like, "What's so funny?" And she was like, "On Sundays, you got a negative deficit." And you could tell he had like this epiphany in real time where he was just kind of like, the deficit? What you mean?" She was like, "Yeah, baby, after you get done pouring out to everybody, like, you're at a negative, like, you're not even at zero, you're at a negative." And he was like, "What do I need to do to at least get back to zero?" She was like, "Nothing. On
mm.
Sundays, I know not to bring you anything without you even asking me that. Sundays, I know I need to cater to you. I need to make sure that you well fed, that you well rested. I know you like to go work out and decompress after a sermon. Whatever you want to do, I don't want you to do nothing for me on Sunday. That's my day to carry the load for you." She don't know what it feels like to carry the weight and the burden of having to give birth to a message out loud in front of thousands of people every Sunday. But she know enough to know, because she don't understand that she can do her very best to support him in whatever that is. She just know the impact of what that does to him after he does it for them. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody can understand your calling and the weight of it other than you. So you put people around you that don't need to understand what it is. They need to understand how it impacts you and everybody else. And if they don't figure out a way to come and insulate you instead of stick a straw in your back to try to siphon more out of you, then they don't need to be around you.
Mm. That's good.
So I'm no respecter of person. I'm not. By that same token, I give people the same thing, though. I give people the same thing. I go out of my way to make sure that I give them the same level of respect, the same level of reverence, the same level of honor, right? And I respect people's spaces. Now, everybody don't choose to live their life and govern theirs this way, and that's okay. I do, though. And it's my life, my choice. And if this is what allows me to be in the best possible shape that I could be in to do what God has called me to do and pour out to and on everybody else, then this is the mode by which I need to live my life to allow me to get what I need to get when I need to get it. When I take that annual sabbatical, that's time for me and God to hang out for 3-4 days together, unencumbered. That's what it is. It's a vacation with me and God with some structure to it, right? Because I've developed a structure as I've been doing it for the last 4 years now. And there's something that I need to get from that to allow me to do what I do every single day. On Sundays, when I take my Sabbath and I'm sitting out on the lanai smoking cigars and soaking up content for 7-8 hours every Sunday, it's something I need to get from that in order for me to do everything that I do. So when people get frustrated and say, "Man, I tried to call you on Sunday," but you already know that my phone on D&D all day on Sunday. I don't know why you try to call me on Sunday. I told you that's my Sabbath. I don't. Man was not made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man. It's in the book. Not just because you don't choose to govern your life and abide by that, that's okay. I need that though. Because I don't need to be on 24/7. Because what I do with them 6 days, I leave it all out on the field. So I feel more than content the fact that I don't do nothing business related on Sunday. I don't need to. I go so hard Monday through Saturday, I got no apology for nobody about taking Sunday off. Nor am I going to let you bother me about that either on Sunday. Just because that's the day you chose to work. Then you go do that. I'm not, though. And so one of the things that you said that truly resonated with me was you said the clarity. Clarity is a gift. I can't be bothered that you bothered when I'm unbothered.
That's good.
I wasn't confused when I made the decision.
Right.
So the fact that you bothered let me know that you got a problem, not me. You got to be very careful, bro, of people that feel like they should have some level of immediate access to you all the time. That's not healthy. That's entitlement. Because if I'm really doing something with my life, I shouldn't be immediately accessible. And one of the biggest challenges with most people is they're still focused on pleasing people instead of pleasing God. I'm supposed to serve people and please God. Not please people and serve God. Two totally different things. Most people please people and serve God instead of serve people and please God.
That's good. This is real good, B. So, communication, number one, setting non-negotiables. And we could really park here because I was going to even ask you to elaborate on this. The difference between a proclaimed non-negotiable and someone's actual non-negotiable. Because as I've been working, because I remember Darius said this as well. Dr. Darius Daniels, he was like, everybody has proclaimed values and then their actual values. So they say God
Yeah.
first, and then you wake up and the first thing they pick up is their phone.
Yeah.
So it's not God first; it's phone first, right?
Yeah.
And even as I've been working, I've been realizing how easy it is to have a proclaimed value because it sounds good, right? It's like, oh yeah, God first, and I do this and that and this. But I wanted to ask you not even maybe you could talk on also the dangers of this, but the danger of having a proclaimed non-negotiable for versus your actual one, because it's really the actual one that like what you do every morning, how you get yourself ready. That's your non-negotiable. So I
Yeah.
wanted you to just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So it's funny. I'm a phone first guy, right? That's what's funny to me. I'm a
Well,
phone first guy, right?
well, what you
But
do
but
out?
but here but I understand what Darius means by that, right? I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
confused.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a phone first guy because I like to look at my phone and the stimulation of it like wakes me up.
Mm,
Once I'm more alert, then I switch over to my Bible app and read my Bible. I've tried it the other way where I just try to wake up and just talk to God, read my Bible. I'm still too, it's
you're right.
not, I'm not there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
So
being
anyway,
honest. Yeah, you being honest.
I digress. Yeah, I mean, bro, because I'm clear.
You being
You
yeah.
never concerned about people challenging your point of view when you clear about it. You know what I mean? So as you would always say, God only blesses what's real.
Yeah.
That's really what I do every day. So here's the thing. A lot of people say, if I can't trust you, if you a liar, if you all these things, get away from me. I don't have them kind of people around me. Until how much money you say? It's a 50-50 split. How much they gonna pay me to come do that? How long is the contract? I mean, it's only 6 months. I don't really. That's proclaim. Saying who and what I don't have around me until there's a carrot or a token there to where I can justify, not so bad. Not so bad. That I'm not going to work with this kind of client. I refuse to work with people that are this, that are that, that are this, or that. You say you got that money right there? Count that one more time. All cash. I think I can make an exception.
Right.
That's proclaim values. Proclaim values have concessions. Actual values don't. We got one rule. I ain't gonna fight you to help you. If I get the sense that I'm gonna have to fight you to help you, we're gonna have that conversation about how we can't take your money. You just keep it. If I got the sense that you're dishonest and you're not coachable, just keep your. I don't want to sign up for that prolonged. You can't pay me enough for that. You cannot work for our company if you're not integrous, have accountability. If you're not those things, you can't work for our company. Right? We have core values that we go over in your interview. If you don't meet these core values, it don't matter how gifted and skilled you are, it's not going to work. By the way, this will surprise most. One of the core values is not that you're a believer. It's that you have these qualities and characteristics that align with our moral compass of how we run our business. But you do have to be open to the fact that we pray in our meetings. You ain't got to be a believer, but you got to be okay with the fact that we pray in our meetings. That's an actual value, bro. That's not proclaimed. It don't change based on who's sitting in front of and who's sitting across. David has a Muslim that works on his team. Guess what? They still pray in Jesus' name on this cause. It's an actual value.
Yeah.
It's an actual value. But believers ain't ready for this conversation. Oh, I just hired Christians, only work with Christians, only Christian. Only thing Christian about them is that chicken they be eating on Saturday at Chick-fil-A. Christian. People be tripping, bro. Proclaim values, man. They be tripping, bro.
You're not lying. Before we get out of here, give us that third one. So you got communication, setting non-negotiables. What'll be the third one on Brian's list of non-negotiables for every successful entrepreneur?
Keeping their word to themselves. Mind you, I said to themselves, not to others.
I don't know
Keeping
what
their
side of the
word
bed you woke up on
to
today,
themselves.
but you different right now. I don't know. Cut the camera. I don't even cut the camera.
You asked the question, right? I had no preparation for this, and so you getting what I
Bro,
got.
bro, insane, insane, man.
Keeping the word to themselves, man. This where this where 99% of entrepreneurs fail every day. They don't keep their word to themselves. I see him. I be, bro, I be lurking. People, and some of them probably know who on here. If you in my sphere of influence, if you in my circle, especially if you a client, I'm lurking. Like I'm looking at your social media, I'm seeing what you're doing, what you ain't doing, and I'm pinging you. Hey, what's up with that video? Hey, right? And for those, some of them may be on here watching right now. Y'all know. Here's the thing. Why that's great that I'm lurking, and why that's great that I'm challenging and I'm pushing, was not great is you said you were going to do this on your own and you still ain't did it. There's a bigger issue underneath all of that you said you were going to do something and didn't do it, and that I'm coming behind you to check on you doing it and you still ain't did it. That, by the way, I'm going to always do my part, right? If I feel called and convicted to challenge and in that kind of way, I'm going to do that. But the real reality is, unless you can get up every day and coach yourself to do it, you lost before you started. Can't win like that. If you still relying on other people reminding you of what you're supposed to be doing, you need a job. Because that's where they do that every day. They get paid to do that every day. It's to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't sign up for this thing called entrepreneurship and still need people to tap you on the shoulder to remind you of what you said you was going to do. Not what they said you was going to do, what you said you was going to do. You need to go to work. I know you don't. See, this is the problem. Everybody wants the veneer. Everybody wants the aesthetic, and I'm a speaker, and I'm an author, and I'm a creator. And all these, they want the aesthetic. They want the veneer, but there's no teeth behind it. That's the problem. Everybody want to play boss. Everybody want to play entrepreneur. Everybody want to do it when it's pretty, and they want to do it when they get the applause. They want to do it when they get in front of the room. But they don't want to do the development in the dark. You must have values that you will not compromise. You must have values you will not compromise. Personal accountability, 100%, 100%. And values is one thing, but commitment is something altogether different. People do not keep their commitments to themselves every day. They let themselves off the hook every day. You're never going to win like that. It'd be marginal. It'd be enough to fake everybody else around you, but you know at the core you're not winning. You could fool everybody else around you and you could put up all these little, beautiful profile pictures and AI and all this old goofy stuff. But you know at the core you're not doing what you said you were going to do. And as long as you're not keeping your commitments to yourself, you're never going to win at the level that you should. Never. Because you know why? You want to know the real reason why?
Talk to me, B.
Because you can't win in business alone. You need team and support and resources and people around you in order to win. Well, the problem with that is this. If I'm not keeping myself to me on a daily, you think I'm keeping myself to other people, keeping my word to other people? If I'm not keeping my word to myself on a daily, do you think that I'm keeping my word to other people on a consistent basis? If I would lie to me, you think I'm not going to lie to you?
Right.
So the issue becomes for people why they never going to be able to win at a high level is because if they lie to them, they definitely lying to the people around them. And if you don't keep your word to the people around you, guess what they're not going to do? The things that you need them to do to help take you to the next level.
Right.
So that's number 3.
Hey, man. This is phenomenal. I ain't got no more. I got what I came for. I got what I came for. I appreciate you, B.
So we got 2 more we need to cover next week then, because
Yes, sir.
you told me 5. We got through 3.
Yes, sir.
Any questions in the chat before we get out of here? Any questions? Did anything that I said prompt any questions in anybody? Any questions? Any comments? Maybe you disagree with something I said, which is okay.
Oh, I got a comment. I told B, y'all. Let me tell you how good God is real fast. I told B in our it was in the Purpose to Profits VIP. This is crazy because as I look back on the year, I just gotta just thank God for His goodness. I told B during the Purpose to Profits in his VIP, I was like, I gotta spend more time with you. I'm gonna be in the same vicinity as you, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, look, I'm gonna get more time. I don't know when. I'm gonna get more time. I got to spend since March. Y'all, do y'all hear me? I don't think y'all are hearing me. I said, mind you, it wasn't a prayer. I said it just in faith. Like, I'm gonna spend more time with you. I don't know when. I didn't ask for, what is it? March, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I ain't ask for all this. I only asked for this. What? That I've had
That's real.
from March to December? If
That's
you pick
real.
up what I'm putting down, then you know what I'm trying to
That,
say. That's
that's
all I
real.
got.
That's
That's my
real.
comment.
That's real. Hey, it's 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 so interesting when you look at that, because I heard you say it when you said it. And I didn't think nothing of it when you said
I
it. You know what I mean?
right.
And here I am participating in what you said. I hope everybody just caught what I just said. When you said
Man,
what you said, I didn't think nothing of what you said, and here I am sitting and participating with what you said.
insane.
It's just, I mean, look, that
Um,
desire that we talked about at the start of this call, and the willingness to act on that desire, and here we are, some 9 months later, as a result of your desire. And
insane.
it's insanity, bro. Brian, I got here late due to work. I'm glad I'm on the team. My spirit tells me I'm aligned with the right team. D Wells. What's up, D Wells? Yes, sir. 1000%, bro. Look forward to connecting with you next week as well. And yeah, man, it's paramount that we get around people that bring out the best in us.
100%.
And it's also paramount that we hold ourselves accountable and we keep our commitments to ourselves so that we can help bring out the best in others.
Yes, sir.
That's a symbiotic relationship. It's unfair to people for them to invest to bring out the best in you when you don't keep your commitments to yourself to bring out the best in you.
Cherry on top.
And on that note, God bless everybody. We will see you guys next week. P, always a pleasure when players get together.